So we took the issue to the voters because we decided that the fight to do pension reform was necessary and the alternative was worse. The alternative was doing nothing and let the city continue to slide into insolvency. During the 10 years leading up to our pension reform ballot measure, we had 10 years of cutting services every year to balance the budget. The year before we did our pension reform, we had a shortfall in our general fund, which is, that's where all the action is, that's where the services are provided. A shortfall in our general fund of $115 million, and our general fund spending was $800 million. And that was the 10th year in a row of shortfalls. So we decided that if we did nothing, we would be insolvent. Certainly on a service delivery model, we'd be insolvent. During that 10-year period, we went from 7,400 employees to 5,400 employees. There was no department in the city that didn't take a hit. Now that's true even though the spending was going up because we were cutting employees to balance the budget. The cost per employee was going up dramatically, which meant we're going to have less of them. Because even though revenues went up in some of those years, the revenues never went up enough to cover the increasing costs of employees. And those costs are driven primarily by skyrocketing retirement costs. And so in 2011, we decided enough is enough. We're going to take on the fight. We set a baseline for the level of services that we thought we should provide to our people. They weren't a very good level, but it was at a level that we were at and said we can't get any worse, although we did. We set that baseline and then we adopted a fiscal reform plan. The pension reform was only one element of the fiscal reform plan, an important element, but all of our employees also took a 10% pay cut. Every employee, including the mayor, I took a 10% pay cut. Our police officers and our firefighters voted to take a 10% pay cut. 4 of our unions declined to vote for it, and so we imposed, after long, long negotiations, we imposed pay cuts on those 4 unions. So all of our 11 unions, all of our non-union personnel, all of our council members, we all took a 10% pay cut. And then we did pension reform. We went to the ballot with pension reform. The reason we did that because the alternative was worse. The alternative was service delivery, insolvency, and perhaps bankruptcy, and we decided we weren't going to go any further. Now, in that decision, I had 100% support of my one Republican. We only allow one Republican on the city council at a time in San Jose, although there are 3 now, but during my term in office, we only had 1 out of 10. And so I had half of the Democrats, my one Republican, and myself, because I got 1 vote as a member of the city council, and that was a majority to do the things we needed to do. And the Democrats supported it because the alternative was worse. We were crowding out services, we were cutting services in every department. We laid off police officers, we laid off firefighters. Now, when you start laying off police officers, you know you've pretty much reached the end of the road for what you can do with cuts. There's a limit. You can't cut your way out of this problem. And so we decided we had to take it on, and that's what we did.